Supreme Chancellor Vorthak of the hegemony adjusted his environmental suit's atmospheric regulators for the dozenth time in an hour. Even with full protective gear, the hellish world of Exerion Prime tested the limits of what his species could endure. The gravity was 3 times standard, the atmospheric pressure could crush unprotected beings, and the electromagnetic storms could fry neural circuits in seconds. It was perfect. "The other delegations have confirmed their arrival," reported his aide, Sub-Commander Kethrol. Her voice filtered through the suit's communication array. "The Crystalline Confederacy, the Void Swimmers, the Hive Clusters all have deployed their most advanced survival technology." Vorthak's mandibles clicked with satisfaction. The annual Galactic Council traditionally rotated between civilized worlds with controlled environments. But this year, he'd insisted on Xerion Prime. The official reason was testing the resolve of member species in adverse conditions. The real reason was eliminating the humans from galactic politics permanently. The bipedal mammals had been a thorn in the hegemony's side since their arrival in galactic space. While other species required centuries of careful negotiation and technological exchange, humans had somehow acquired faster-than-light travel in mere decades. They traded aggressively, adapted to alien technology with disturbing ease, and worst of all, they asked uncomfortable questions about the hegemony's territorial expansion policies. Inviting them to a summit on the galaxy's most notorious Deathworld would solve several problems at once. Either they would decline, revealing their weakness to the other species, or they would attend and perish, along with any foolish enough to side with them. Either outcome would restore the proper order to galactic affairs. "Sir," Kethrol's voice carried a note of concern. "Long-range sensors are detecting an approaching vessel. Human configuration, but the readings are unusual." Vorthak checked his chronometer. The humans were arriving precisely on schedule, which was somehow more unsettling than if they had been late. Through his suit's reinforced visor, he could see the craft descending through Xerion Prime's turbulent atmosphere. Unlike the heavily shielded, fortress-like vessels of other species, the human ship seemed almost delicate, sleek lines and minimal armor. "They'll be vaporized before they reach the surface," he muttered. But the ship touched down gracefully near the summit complex, its hull showing no signs of atmospheric damage. Vorthak's confidence wavered slightly, but he reminded himself that the real tests were yet to come. The complex itself was a marvel of engineering, requiring constant energy shields to maintain habitable zones. The humans might survive landing, but they could never endure the summit's duration. The airlock cycled, and Vorthak prepared himself for the sight of humans in bulky environmental suits, similar to his own. What emerged instead made his breathing apparatus catch. A human female walked out wearing nothing more than what appeared to be a standard diplomatic outfit, a simple fabric covering with minimal technological augmentation. Behind her, 3 more humans followed, equally unprotected. They moved with casual ease, despite the crushing gravity, chatting among themselves as if they were strolling through a garden. "Greetings, Chancellor Vorthak," the lead human said, extending her hand in their peculiar gesture of greeting. "I'm Ambassador Sarah Chen. Thank you for hosting the summit in such an interesting location." Vorthak stared at her ungloved hand, exposed to an atmosphere that should have killed her instantly. "Ambassador Chen, your environmental protection seems to be malfunctioning. My medical team can." "Oh, we're fine," Chen interrupted with a smile that Vorthak was learning to find deeply disturbing. "Actually, we're quite excited to be here. Xerion Prime reminds us of home." "Reminds you of what?" One of the other humans, a tall male with graying hair, laughed. "Well, the gravity's a bit heavy, and the atmospheric pressure is intense, but it's not unlike our deep ocean environments." "And the electromagnetic storms?" "We have those too. We call them weather." Vorthak's mandibles began clicking involuntarily, a sign of stress among his people. But the radiation levels are well within human tolerances, Chen confirmed. We evolved on a world with a naturally unstable magnetic field. Our ancestors learned to deal with radiation exposure millions of years ago. As they walked toward the summit complex, more alien delegations arrived, each emerging from heavily armored craft in full environmental gear. The crystalline beings required mobile atmospheric processors. The void swimmers needed pressure suits that could withstand planet-cracking forces. The hive clusters deployed entire mechanical exoskeletons to protect their delicate collective consciousness nodes. And through it all, the humans strolled alongside them in simple clothing, chatting amiably about the lovely weather and asking if anyone wanted to join them for a quick jog around the perimeter to stretch their legs. By the third day of the summit, the other delegations had begun to treat the humans with a mixture of awe and terror. The crystalline ambassador had privately confided to Vorthak that his species was reconsidering their expansion plans into human space. The void swimmers had started referring to Earth as the nightmare world despite never having visited it. But it was during the final day's session that Vorthak truly understood the magnitude of his error. In conclusion, Ambassador Chen was saying, humanity would like to propose hosting next year's summit. We've identified several worlds that would be perfect for the occasion. The holographic display showed a list that made every non-human delegate's survival systems alarm in protest. Worlds with crushing gravity wells, planets with acidic atmospheres, a moon that orbited so close to its star that its surface was molten during half its rotation. These locations, Chen continued cheerfully, should provide excellent opportunities for all species to demonstrate their adaptability and resolve. Vorthak realized with growing horror that she was using his own words from this year's summit proposal. Of course, Chen added, we understand if any delegation prefers to decline participation. We certainly wouldn't want anyone to feel unsafe. The session ended in chaos, as various species demanded emergency recalls to their home systems to reconsider humanity's role in galactic affairs and reassess the strategic implications of their existence. As the summit complex emptied, Vorthak found himself alone with the human delegation. They were packing their minimal equipment with the same casual efficiency they had demonstrated all week. Lovely summit, Chancellor, Chen said. We look forward to reciprocating the hospitality. After their ship departed, Vorthak stood on the surface of Exerion Prime, watching their vessel disappear into the storm-racked sky. For the first time in his political career, he was genuinely terrified. He had wanted to demonstrate human weakness. Instead, he had revealed to the entire galaxy that humanity considered Deathworlds to be vacation destinations. The hegemony's expansion plans would need significant revision.